Business and Labour are currently meeting Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa at the Union Buildings in Pretoria over Eskom. The meeting is aimed at briefing stakeholders on Eskom's so-called war room progress. Well, Liabo Setho is at that meeting. She joins us now from Pretoria. Liabo, good afternoon. First of all, just give us a sense of what this meeting is about. We understand it centres on the action plan for Eskom.
Devon, good afternoon. Of course, we all know the current electricity crisis that South Africa is facing. We do know that there is energy demand issues, energy generation issues. We've heard recently of the leadership issues that Eskom has been facing. It is generally a crisis, Devon. A few meters from where I'm standing, Deputy President Ramaphosa is meeting with NEDLEC social partners, that would be business and labour, and they're currently talking about the 5-point plan that they discussed earlier in the year, or that they unveiled earlier in the year, about how they're going to tackle this electricity crisis. You'll remember in the 5-point plan they were talking about how they're going to manage demand. They're also talking about how they'll focus on raising the availability of the coal-fired power stations from the current 72% and increase it to about 80%. So in this meeting, from what I believe, is that they're talking about what the progress is with all those plans. We will obviously only know after the meeting has taken place what deliberations took place, what the progress is. They will be issuing out a statement.
You must have seen business leaders and labour representatives there. What's the latest word from them, given the latest rumblings at the power utility?
I had a very fortunate encounter with FEDUSA General Secretary Mr. Dennis George, as well as the Deputy Secretary General of COSATU, Mr. Bheki Njalinjali, who both expressed concern about what is happening at Eskom and the fact that electricity crisis is really taking away from economic growth in the country. Mr. Bheki Njalinjali gave us a nice picture of what this is doing to the economy. I spoke to him and I also spoke to Mr. Dennis George, but first, let's hear from Mr. Njalinjali.
We hope to achieve. Firstly, we want to be updated in terms of what might be happening in the war room, in addressing the challenges that Eskom is facing. That's the first one. But also, we want to ensure that what we are hearing in the media is not correct, that there are attempts to unbundle Eskom, which we want to defend, that Eskom must remain the state-owned enterprise so that it can provide its mandate of giving electricity to all its citizens at an affordable price. But also we want to ensure that in the future engagement we're totally involved, because so far it is, in our view, dominated by business. So this is our aim of getting in this meeting.
The situation that really affects our country is the supply of electricity to our different industries, to our people, and that is something that helps us to get inclusive economic growth. Because if electricity goes out every 5 minutes, businesses can't switch on and switch off their things, and that is the reason why we felt that we need to speak to the Deputy President. We've also concerned about what was happening inside of Eskom, where the chairperson decided to immediately suspend 4 executives and the CEO of Eskom, which is the critical component for our country to have electricity. The people did nothing wrong. It was just some fictitious investigation that he wanted to launch. Now, who was going to do the work of the executives if they're sitting at home and he's doing investment? So those are the corporate issues that we want the government to clarify to us.
Thoughts there from both the trade unions, FEDUSA and COSATU. Liabo Setho, that's where we'll leave it. We'll try and get an update from you in our later bulletins.